Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online, where we dive into the most fascinating corners of science and the world around us. Today, we're talking about something that's in your brain right now, a tiny molecule with a massive job, dopamine. You've probably heard of it as the feel-good chemical, linked to pleasure and reward. But what if I told you dopamine is also a superhero when it comes to conquering your deepest fears? Imagine this. You've faced a scary situation. Your heart races, your palms sweat. But eventually, the danger passes. How does your brain tell itself, okay, coast is clear, you can relax now? Neuroscientists are discovering that dopamine plays a crucial, and I mean pretty, crucial, role in that all-clear signal. When this system works well, we return to calm. But when it malfunctions, that's when prolonged anxiety, or even conditions like PTSD, can take root. This isn't just about feeling good, it's about feeling safe again. So how does this magic happen? Groundbreaking research, especially from places like MIT, is shining a light on dopamine's power to extinguish fear. They've looked at what happens in the brain, using studies in mice, to understand how we first learn to be afraid and, more importantly, how we learn that a threat is gone. It turns out there's a dynamic duo of cell groups within the amygdala, that's your brain's fear center. One part, let's call it the anterior section, encodes the scary memories. But when the danger disappears, another part, the posterior section, steps up to form a asterisk new minus memory, an extinction memory. That basically tells the fear memory to quiet down. And get this, these posterior neurons are also involved in processing feelings of reward. That explains that wave of relief you feel when something you were dreading doesn't happen. But what flips the switch for these posterior fear-busting neurons to start their work? You guessed it, dopamine. This dopamine doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's sent from a special area called the ventral tegmental area, or VTA, which is a key player in your brain's reward system. Think of dopamine from the VTA as a powerful teaching signal sent directly to the amygdala. Let's break down exactly how dopamine orchestrates this calming symphony in your brain during fear extinction. First, it acts as that vital all-clear signal. Dopamine release basically shouts, hey, that situation we thought was dangerous? It's safe now. This is step one to dial down the fear. Second, dopamine activates those specific reward-responding neurons in the posterior amygdala. This means unlearning fear isn't just about suppressing a bad memory. It's an active, positive learning process powered by your brain's own reward machinery. Your brain is literally rewarding you for learning you're safe. Third, dopamine is a smart chemical. It doesn't just flood the whole amygdala. Different groups of dopamine-producing neurons in the VTA target the fear-encoding neurons and these extinction-promoting, reward-responding neurons separately. And, fascinatingly, the extinction-promoting neurons have more dopamine receptors, making them extra sensitive to dopamine's fear-busting message. Fourth, there's something called prediction error signaling. Imagine you're expecting something bad to happen, like a mild foot shock in an experiment. If that shock doesn't come, it's an unexpected, positive outcome. Your VTA dopamine neurons fire up in response to this pleasant surprise. This better-than-expected signal is super important for kicking off and driving fear extinction learning, especially when the absence of the threat is most surprising. And fifth, dopamine helps modulate entire neural circuits. In the amygdala, it helps shift the balance from fear to safety. But it also talks to other brain regions. The medial prefrontal cortex, for example, needs dopamine to help lock in those fear extinction memories. Even the nucleus accumbens, usually known as a reward hub, gets involved, using dopamine signals to help regulate scary memories. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but how do scientists know dopamine is causing this? They've used amazing techniques like optogenetics, where they can literally use light to control specific neuron activity in mice. When they inhibited dopamine release to that posterior part of the amygdala, fear extinction was impaired. But when they activated those dopamine inputs, extinction happened faster. They've even manipulated dopamine receptors on amygdala cells and seen direct impacts on fear. It's pretty incredible proof. So, what does all this mean for you and me, especially if you or someone you know struggles with anxiety? The implications are huge. Problems with fear extinction are at the heart of anxiety disorders like PTSD, phobias, and generalized anxiety disorder. Current treatments like exposure therapy are essentially trying to achieve this extinction learning. This new understanding of the dopamine-driven mechanism opens up exciting possibilities. Could we develop therapies that specifically target these dopaminergic pathways? Could we find ways to enhance dopamine signaling in just the right brain areas to boost our natural ability to unlearn fear? This research isn't just about suppressing fear. It's about actively teaching the brain it's safe by tapping into its own powerful reward and safety learning systems. Of course, fear extinction is a complex, brain-wide process. But understanding dopamine's role in this specific circuit is a massive piece of the puzzle and offers a really promising target for future therapies. Imagine treatments that could more effectively help people overcome the crushing burden of fear-related disorders. It's a testament to the incredible, intricate design of our brains and how a single neurotransmitter like dopamine can hold the key not just to joy, but to peace of mind and resilience. Pretty amazing stuff, right? That's all for this episode of G Fun Facts Online. Join us next time for more mind-blowing insights.